How's it going, guys? My name's Jimmy, and I'm going to be covering the Earthquake app that we developed for our Mobile Lesson 3. So we'll start off in our project files under source with the earthquake activity.java. Being that most of this was given to us, all that we needed to do was create a new intent to view the earthquake URI and then send the intent to launch a new activity. And that's as simple as creating any new intent, as you can see here. Where we did most of the coding, which still wasn't a ton, but the majority of it in this ICP was right here with the queryutils.java. Our to-do was to essentially take this try block, and what I did was have two try blocks, one that looks for JSON parsing errors, and the other one will catch exceptions that happen when you simply just try and add the data from the JSON to the earthquake list. But you essentially make a HTTP URL connection and initialize an input stream and a buffer reader, and then kind of just stepping line by line through this code, we have a string that we append the results of the reader to. So as the reader is reading each line in the data, it will append that to the string. Then I convert that result to a string, which something I call JSON, which is just another way of saying JSON for some people. I have a second try block where I have a few JSON objects as well as a JSON array called data, and that gets the features from the JSON1 array, which is a JSON object created from the JSON string. Sorry if all the names are confusing you, but you kind of get the idea. And then from there, I iterate through the data and create, or I guess you could say initialize these JSON2 and JSON3 objects into, according to the data and then the string from the JSON2 data. So it sounds kind of convoluted explaining it, but hopefully overall it makes sense. Lastly, we take all that data, and I have a variable called earth here, which is just essentially taking that JSON and parsing it, so we get the magnitude from the JSON object, which is a double. We get the place, which is a string. We get the time, which is a long value. And we also get a URL, which is going to be what directs us to the page when we click on the button. And then here's my two catch exceptions. We either couldn't parse the JSON or whatever other exception could pop up when trying to add the data from the JSON to the list. And lastly, return the list of earthquakes. So let's run this application. It'll just be two screens, so it should go quickly. Alright, so looks like we're installing still. Okay, there we go. So here are, in real time, the most recent earthquakes that have been recorded around the world. Stuff that was given to us, it records the magnitude and color codes those based on the level of severity they are. Looks like we have some in Japan, some in Argentina, Taiwan, Fiji Islands, a lot around the Asian area, which is interesting. There must be some fault lines over there that are pretty active. But if I were to click on any one of these, it'll redirect me to a website, as I'll show you. Let's click on the Fiji Islands one, for example, south of the Fiji Islands. So that takes me to earthquake.usgs.gov, and it should be the page containing all the information for this particular earthquake as soon as it loads. There we go. Magnitude 4.6 south of the Fiji Islands. Has the time and date. Perhaps the page isn't loading well, but typically this interactive map pops up. These are all features of the website itself, so if something's not working there, it's on the website. But yeah, it redirects you to this page that lets you explore more in depth about this earthquake. So that's all for the ICP.